Greetings. This is Corkin Cherubini, and I'm a targeted American citizen or targeted individual, or TI, as it's been shortened to. And for the last 23 or so years, I have experienced a life that has been turned upside down, you might say. And much of it is dealt with harassment and terror and torture and things that I thought were no longer a concern after the Dark Ages. I thought, this is Dark Age kind of things, that they put people in dungeons and did horrible things to them. But now that has been gone, except for maybe some witchcraft things going on in Massachusetts or Europe or somewhere. But much of that was supposed to have been eliminated shortly after the Dark Ages, and certainly after 1800 or so, even in Salem, Massachusetts. But anyway, we do have this new concern, and it's probably not new at all. It's been around for many, many, many decades. Some people say going back in America to groups like the KKK, and in Europe to groups like the Nazis and the STASI program in East Germany. In fact, our own COINTELPRO gang stalking is supposedly modeled very closely to the STASI program, except now we have much greater technology doubling every 11 months, has surpassed many things, including how to deal with it. It has increased so fast, there has been no way to deal with it. We have surveillance that supposedly can follow you all through the day and all through the night. Every word you're saying, thinking, whatever. And of course, along with that comes the mind control. Dr. Phil is here, and I would like to get her expert opinion, and she is becoming more expert about this, as many of us are day by day, because it is so big, it is so huge. It's really difficult to know much about what is happening to you unless you gain some knowledge about it. And most of the people in the world are extremely endangered, I feel, by such a program. This is not to be taken lightly. It is very, very deadly, very serious, and very covert, secretive, and very much in place, very covered up by the media, and of course the controllers of everything. This is their program. This is their way of getting back at a target who disturbs their lifestyle in any way, which is usually a whistleblowing, or maybe you're a dissenter, maybe you're an activist of some kind, and they will notice that. But anyway, today the thing that was concerning me was the fact that we don't have any legal means, it seems, to really address this issue the way it should be. And ordinarily, when you're not working against a covert agency or very, very covert operation of some kind, you have some way to eventually get the truth, the proof that you need. But now, if it's covert, if it's government sponsored, government driven, government paid for, there's very little that I see that can be done, that should be able to be done in quick time. I'm reading many testimonies of people that, you know, it's 8, 10, 12 years old or older, and they just cannot seem to get to square one with doing anything about this, because it is so secretive, and more laws. It's in the last 3 or 4 years we have seen even less transparency in our government operations, and the covert operations have practically they're opaque, totally opaque. So no transparency there, and it's horrible. But you know, what can we do? That I mean, do you have any ideas?
Well, the first thing that anybody can do is to educate him herself. It is very important to have knowledge about what is going on. Now, speaking about the legal aspect of how can you use the legal system to accomplish anything, as Dr. Nick Begich stated in a book that he had written about this technology and the detrimental effects that it can have and does have on many, many people. He said that there are no laws in place to deal with such things. And even when the laws are in place, such as in the state of Maine, there's supposed to be a law against microwave technology used on people. Michigan, the same thing. We find that those things still happen, and if you go to authorities to indicate that they are happening to you, the authorities turn a deaf ear to your complaint. So that even having laws in place are that's not going to help the targeted individual population to help get rid of this program unless there is enforcement for such laws. Well, when we come to talking about enforcement, the problem is proof. Can you prove that this is happening to you? Because oftentimes the technology is used in such a way that it seems that, well, you know, this is just a disease that people normally get. The symptoms that you are having are the symptoms of such and such a malfunction in your body. What is not brought out is that the technology is quite capable, and this has been proven many, many times. You can go to military databases and find that the technology does create these health situations. Therefore, but being able to actually prove that this is happening and somebody is punching a button that makes this happen is virtually impossible. Virtually impossible.
I see exactly what you're saying, and that's what I've been coming back to many times, and the attorneys I've talked with about this very thing say, you know, get your absolute proof. But what we all know is that if it's a covert operation that is shrouded in secrecy, from every aspect of it is shrouded, then are we supposed to just sit back and say, well, this is our fate, that we are targeted and we have to accept the torture, the zapping, the burns, the biologicals, the chemicals. I keep thinking that there are enough people that know about MK Ultra, about COINTELPRO. These were not, well, they were secret, but they were discovered by activists breaking into an FBI office and getting the papers that proved it, and it went to a committee, the Frank Church Committee, and they supposedly dealt with it. They thought they had dealt with it, outlawing it, making certain that it would not come back again. And what the experts about COINTELPRO gang stalking say is it just went underground and got forever stronger and stronger using this high technology, which is doubling every 11 months and getting impossible to deal with anyway. But on top of this, we have a problem with this mind control, RNM. RNM stands for remote neural monitoring. They can monitor what your mind is thinking, what your, just every thought. And they can also put thoughts into your brain using the microwave technology. Now, what I keep coming back to that seems elementary, I mean, very, very simple to understand, is that if an evil person, like the Dr. Jonas in that 1997 conspiracy film, Dr. Jonas was the worst of evil creatures, the worst. And I remember his filling a needle with a drug, talking to his victim, saying, "This, what's in the needle, will put my words into your mouth." Meaning, now this was 1997, meaning that probably much earlier than 97, they had the power, and the whole conspiracy film was accurate on many, many counts, everyone except at the end they had the victim being helped by this other secret agency that is a piece of fiction. There is no help for the people that have been destroyed, not coming from the government, and we're not sure if we could trust it anymore, or at least without looking very deeply into what kind of what was going on in this program. But anyway, the fact that they had this technology 20 some years ago, 30 some years ago, and it has been perfected immensely. Yes.
Well, I wanted to say that oftentimes you say that these groups are so opaque, and what they're actually doing is opaque. However, oftentimes they do it within plain sight. Of course, they don't always tell you that this is reality rather than fiction. And two instances. First of all, the conspiracy movie that you were speaking of actually put out there for everybody to see. This is what MK Ultra was like. This is exactly what it was like. History professors never touched upon that particular subject. Also, just recently, and this is very, very interesting, there is a group in Wisconsin, I think it's an employer of some sort, that is paying $300 each for chips to be implanted in the employees. Now, supposedly, these people are told, oh, well, this doesn't have a GPS on it. Really? But there are 52 people, I believe I heard the radio person say, that had opted into this particular program. And, oh yes, this is so nice. It's going to allow you to go to certain places and scan your hands so that you can buy such and such, just like your cell phones do today. This is the technology in plain sight. The point is, we are not told everything that that particular technology will do. We're told only what these people think will get us to buy into that technology.
Yes, they have a very strong sales program, but the chipping is almost, it's almost passe. They have things that are evidently so much more invasive, things that some people say we're breathing in the very chemtrails that are lacing the skies. And I don't know for certain, but I know at about 3.5 years ago, I did a number of body scans with several different instruments, and they all picked up only one spot on my body, and that just happened to be precisely where I had a very small incision, and in a hospital, and had been put under for a while, and it was very, very strange, the entire ordeal. But anyway, that's where the one, where the information showed up on the scanners. Now, almost my whole body with every one of the scanners is registering. So what has happened in 3 years that we don't know about? But anyway, getting back to, my big point is, if Dr. Jonas or anyone that would be every bit as evil as Dr. Jonas, what if they program somebody to do a very vile deed using this simple microwave carrier beam, a beam that is a carrier to, in one day, how many times did they repeat a certain message? 1 million? Several million a week? I don't know. If it's a 3-second, 4-second message, do this, do that, do this, do that, do this, every minute of every day, and you have no defense against it. In fact, you don't know it is happening, and it is the ones that don't know that are at most, that are at extreme risk. So they don't know, and even if you do know, there is still some small risk, and that's why it is good to have some kind of device that gives you a few seconds, a few minutes, preferably before you act about anything that seems the least bit questionable. And I've actually had this kind of thing happen, and I will testify that you do need a device, no matter how much you know about this. It's a very, very, very powerful system. I've heard on some of the alternative news sites that they're talking about mind control, but in a different way, about the most pervasive as being the television. Yes, I agree with that. It's in everyone's house, and right now it's more pervasive than maybe the cell phone towers could cover. But I think that that these microwave carriers are becoming much more prolific, and for that reason, much more dangerous. And it's like I think it was Fritz Springmeyer that I heard on a radio broadcast saying that just how I feel about it. And it was good to hear somebody else say this, that yes, the old forms of mind control, such as television, any of your media, are definitely out there, and they can influence you. But compared to the microwave beam carriers, it's minuscule. And I think he said it, maybe using hyperbole, that it's a million times stronger using the microwave carriers for the mind control, and maybe other types of carriers. I'm sure there are other types that we just that I'm not familiar with, at least. But anyway, you have this person using this extremely powerful device, programming somebody to do something silly, something really insane. And who is going to get blamed for this? Is it the real villain? Or will the real villain sit back and smirk and laugh about what he has done to ruin another individual's life, yet another and another, and soon it will be everyone they desire to see destroyed?
Well, and oftentimes these persons that are, especially the ones that are programmed for this microwave carrier type thing to do violent actions, there's a purpose behind having them do this. The purpose may be gun control. It may be some other kind of control that whoever is in control wants to happen in society.
And for the media's credit, I have seen quite a few mentions of this very thing going on in America, that we have, more of these horribly violent things going on. And even the mainstream media, I remember, I can't tell you where right now, but it seems that I remember the mainstream as also questioning, who gets blamed? Why should an innocent individual, maybe it could be Miss X over here or Mr. Y over there, why should they take the blame if they are being totally controlled, and these electronic beams can do the total control? Why are we not looking into doing something about it when 1,000 targeted individuals have, as we do, mountains of testimony, mountains of day-by-day documentation of what is happening, and we know that the patent numbers for these electronic weapons are, the patent numbers go back decades, many decades. In many cases, we have no idea what the real situation is for the moment, how much the military or the paramilitary or the covert agencies really have at their disposal and what they can do. Can they stop your car from running miles away remotely? Can they make you walk out in front of a truck or a bus? Can they do that? Can they make you lose control of your car and go off a bridge?
They've done that.
Of course they have. Can they make you lose control of a plane or have your plane go straight down into the ocean, killing all passengers aboard? And that's the point of this discussion. Why is it not at least being addressed? It's a big address that needs to be made, but we have not even started on it. There is no admittance. There is complicity on every end, it seems. Complicity, complicity, silence is complicity, and we know that. And can we do anything to get it moving? We haven't been able to, and most of the people, all of the individuals that I've talked with or communicated with have had the same exact problem or read about the same exact problems, and I think it's way past time to do something about it. And the first thing that has to happen is we go from opaque to totally transparent about what is going on underground. Black ops, as they call it. It's worse than anything that has ever touched the earth. And in fact, the entire COINTELPRO gang stalking program has been called the most atrocious thing, criminality, most atrocious criminality to ever touch the earth. And as one involved with it, I can agree with that statement, I think. We would only suggest, I guess, that the viewer dig as deep into this mind control subject, and also the targeting of individuals, or the gang stalking is what it ends up being called usually. MK Ultra is a good place to start. That alone will scare the average person to death because it is so evil. And we don't want to forget Dr. Jonas conspiracy, 1997. Patrick Stewart, I think, played the part, excellent actor, playing the part of that villain that was torturing the victim with LSD type substances and the dipping in the waterboarding type things. They called it, he explained MK Ultra right on the set, and it went right by me. I thought, a fiction movie, this must all be fiction. There was very little fiction except, like we mentioned at the end, when we found out they had help for the MK Ultra victims, a special agency. There should be great help in every way possible for any victims whatsoever for in this COINTELPRO gang stalking. And I'll have more to say about this kind of thing later. But anyway, I just want to thank everybody for listening here, and we'll be back again.